Do you know of a stellar leader or an outstanding organization that deserves a proper shout out? Nominate them for IBJ's awards. From 40 in their 40s and Women of Influence to Nonprofit and Healthcare Excellence Awards, we're celebrating rising stars, seasoned leaders, and organizations making a difference. Discover which programs are accepting nominations now at ibj.com/nominate.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the afternoon of Thursday, April 16th, 2026. I'm Alex Braun. Visit Fort Wayne this week launched a 5-year plan aimed at making the city an accessible destination for everyone. Director of Destination Development and Communications Jessa Campbell tells Inside Indiana Business the plan spells out how the city can grow in the area of accessibility.
We have a great foundation with partners locally who are investing, focusing on accessibility through the built environment. But how do we also incorporate that into our attractions in our restaurants, our hotels, venues and events? And this really outlines kind of some of those initiatives to do that.
You can connect to the full plan at InsideIndianaBusiness.com. The Indiana Economic Development Corporation said today that the state is making a $10 million commitment to Indianapolis-based venture capital firm Roll Tack Ventures with the goal of bolstering Indiana tech startups. The funding will go directly into the firm's $50 million fund known as Roll Tack 26, which provides Series A and Series B capital for B2B technology companies in the manufacturing, logistics, energy, healthcare, and insurance sectors. Improvements are now underway on a historic bridge in Tippecanoe County that has been closed to traffic for more than 3 years. The $9.1 million project to restore the State Road 225 bridge over the Wabash River is expected to be complete in November 2027. Improvements include the repair or replacement of truss gusset plates, bracing, floor beams, deck and rails, and the installation of drainage turnouts. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick, coming to you this week from Northwest Indiana, Jeffersonville, Muncie, South Bend, in downtown Evansville, Terre Haute, Fort Wayne, Richmond, from one of the state's key entrepreneurial and innovation hubs, 16 Tech. Inside Indiana Business, Indiana's business news leader.
The South Bend Redevelopment Commission has approved a purchase agreement that could bring new life to a long-vacant industrial property near Ignition Park. IIB's Aubriana Herron has more.
At its latest meeting, commissioners signed off on the sale of the property, which includes a 3,200 square foot building owned by the city for more than a decade. The property has sat largely unused and was most recently used for temporary storage. The buyer, GTO Masonry and Stone, a Goshen-based masonry restoration company, plans to relocate its operations to South Bend, where most of its clients are based. Under the agreement, the company will purchase the property for $15,000 and commit to at least $120,000 in improvements. The building requires significant upgrades, including a new roof and windows, but it is otherwise suited for conversion into shop and storage space. Plans also include fencing the site to accommodate equipment, trailers, and trucks tied to the business. The agreement sets a timeline requiring construction to begin within 12 months of closing and to be completed within 24 months. City officials said the project would activate a dormant property along Prairie Avenue while supporting a local business poised for growth. GTO Masonry, which currently employs 3 people, is expected to expand its workforce after relocating. Aubriana Herron, Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Indiana-based energy startup First American Nuclear Company has announced the addition of 3 longtime industry officials to its executive team. The company, which does business as Fanco, has hired Pat Schweiger as Chief Technology Officer, Rafael Paz as Chief Financial Officer, and George Malone as Chief Nuclear Program Officer. CEO Mike Reinboth says the executive additions will be especially important as the company begins its engagement with federal officials at the Nuclear Regulatory Commission on its proposed $4 billion billion nuclear plant in Indiana powered by small modular reactors. Ascend Indiana is spotlighting student-led businesses as a key solution to meet the growing demand for work-based learning opportunities under the state's updated high school diploma requirements. The organization released a report this week alongside a statewide initiative aimed at expanding student-run enterprises. Ascend CEO Brad Rohr.
It's a business inside the school that the students lead and run in partnership with employers in their region. So they really try to grow that opportunity experience within the four walls of their school, but really in partnership with industry.
Under the redesigned diploma framework approved by the Indiana General Assembly last year, many students must complete at least 75 hours of work-based learning to earn certain readiness seals. Student-led businesses can count toward those requirements. Daymar Services CEO Jim Dalton is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports and entertainment, and beyond. Available now on the IBJ Media app or your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.
From broadcast to podcast, Inside Indiana Business with Gary Dick is now available anytime on YouTube or in your podcast feed. Subscribe and listen wherever you get your podcast or at ibjpodcast.com.
Your commute just got smarter. Turn drive time into growth time. The IBJ Media Podcast Network gives you front row access to leaders shaping Indiana's economy, culture, and future. No filler, just smart, relevant, local storytelling you won't get anywhere else. Find all of our shows by searching IBJ Media in your podcast app or visit ibjpodcasts.com.